master, not just a man. He's a lion with a Bible and a constitutional plan. With a voice like thunder and a heart full of grace, he's calling out the lies right to their face. He's got a pope's name, but a prophet's fire. He's pulling back curtains, lifting folks high from rumble to the pews. He won't back down. There's a holy kind of boldness in his small town crown. He's Professor Toto, truth on the go. With a wink and a word, he's stealing the show. Like that little dog in the land of Oz, he's shouting out truth and he's giving God the applause. He's exposing the smoke, breaking the spell, ringing that liberty bell. So shout it from the steeple, shout it to the town. Professor Toto's gonna turn it all around. He's got a red, white, and blue burning deep in his bones, preaching kingdom and country from his humble home. He don't need a spotlight, don't need a stage, just YouTube Live and a righteous rage. With a Bible in hand and a founder's dream, he's waking up the church, raising up a team. He ain't fooled by glitter, he ain't sold on the spin. He's calling out wolves in sheepish skin. He's Professor Toto, truth on the go. With a wink and a word, he's stealing the show. Like that little dog in the land of Oz, he's shouting out truth and he's giving God the applause. He's exposing the smoke, breaking the spell, ringing that liberty bell. So shout it from the steeple, shout it to the town. Professor Toto's gonna turn it all around. Now the world may mock and the news may spin, but Toto don't flinch, he knows who wins. With a kingdom compass and a patriot soul, he's marching in truth till the trumpet rolls. Oh, Professor Toto, keep walking bold. The word in your heart and the fire in your soul. You're lifting the veil, calling truth by name, shining heaven's light on the devil's game. You're exposing the smoke, breaking the spell, ringing that liberty bell. We're shouting hallelujah as the lies fall down. Professor Toto's turning it around. Yeah, Professor Toto, keep pulling that curtain down.
All right, grab your pen, your paper, and all your questions, because tonight you are going to be educated on a very important subject, maybe more important than you realize. Tonight, I'm in full teacher mode. I'm ready to teach you about the subject of gold and silver. Now, for those of you that think you already know everything about it, don't fool yourself. Tonight, I want you to listen closely. Write your questions down. At the end of the seminar, I will answer those questions. I'll scroll through and find those questions. I'll answer them. Tonight, I don't want you to sit back and relax. I don't want you to just listen. I want you to learn about something very, very important. Share this. Help me get the word out. I believe with all my heart the day is soon to come when you will thank me for this information. I truly believe that with all of my heart. First of all, good evening to all you citizens of common sense, patriots desiring prosperity. Tonight is Freedom Finance Firestorm. Before we start, I want to acknowledge two groups of people that are watching me tonight. Everyone that's watching me, and please hit that share button, that love button. Help me get the word out to many more people. Okay. In this class tonight, there are two groups of people, and you belong to one of those two groups of people. The first group, people that are living from paycheck to paycheck. You're doing your best to put food on the table, gas in the tank, and to keep up with this economy. And to that group, the very thought of buying gold and silver is almost as funny as Kamala being the president. Let's be honest. It sounds like a luxury fantasy, something only for the wealthy and the powerful, or the conspiracy crowd that thinks the sky is falling. Okay, I acknowledge you tonight. However, among that group of people that is living from week to week, some of you have a goal and you're able to put $200 to $300 a month in a savings account for a rainy day. Okay, that's the first group of people. You're lucky to get $100 a month, $200, $300 in a savings account. I grew up with that group of people. That was my family. And that was me for a long time. Okay, so I acknowledge group number one. If you're in group number one tonight, why don't you just comment the number one? Okay, I realize group number one is here tonight. And you're probably even wondering, what am I doing here? I'm only here because I like Professor Toto, because I can't afford gold. Maybe I'll just get a free education tonight. All right. Welcome to group number one. You are acknowledged here. You are acknowledged here tonight. Someone said, where is everyone tonight? This is not a Toto show tonight. This is a seminar by Shane Vaughn. Okay. Much grace given. Thank you. I love you, and thank you for watching me as well. Okay. Anybody in group number one here tonight, living from week to week? Well, I reckon not. Okay. Then we will move on to group number two tonight. All right. I want to acknowledge group number two. I do have folks watching me tonight, or that will watch the replay, that are sitting on tens of thousands of dollars in the bank, maybe from a 401k, retirement, inheritance, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars in a checking account somewhere. By the way, that's the most foolish thing. Luann Brake is in group number one. Hello, Luann, and Robert Stewart, all in group number one. But group number two, there's a few of you. Hello, Mar 1123 and Risings and Loaded 45. All right, got you. Darren Bunch said me, number one. Bonnie Weisenbarger, number one. Now, if you're in group number two, I'm not going to ask you to identify yourself, because everybody will start asking you for money. But you know who you are, and maybe you do have some money in the bank. And one group tonight that's watching me feels like they cannot afford gold. The other group, they can afford gold. They just don't understand why they need it. Tonight, I'm going to speak to both of you, okay? Because the truth I'm about to share tonight is not just financial, it's foundational. And you have been robbed of this knowledge all of your life. What I'm going to teach you tonight is about survival. It's about protection, and it's about stewardship. Because when paper money dies, and it will, when the system breaks, and it will. How can I be so sure of that tonight? Because my faith is in a book called the Bible, the Word of God, And it tells me of the day that I'm living in where all these beast systems will crumble. So I do believe that when the system breaks and when the digital leash is tightened, do you know what the digital leash is? You're going to find out soon enough. Those who are wise will not be surprised by it. We will be ready. Why? Because someone like Professor Toto cared enough to break it down and teach it to us, okay? Now, so whether you've got $20 here tonight and you're on your last EBT reload, or if you've got 200,000 in the bank sleeping in your Chase account, what you hear tonight can change your future. Because I'm going to show you how even the common man, that's you, can start getting a hold of God's money and literally touch heaven with his wallet. I know that's big words. It's grandiose. I get it. But I plan to prove it to you tonight. If you're watching me and you're the little man, I'm going to show you a way up. If you're the big man watching me, I'm going to explain why you need to get that digital leash off of your neck, okay? So one group tonight, group number one, they can't afford it. And the other doesn't know why they need it. Tonight, we're going to fix both groups. Let's start at the foundation. Are you taking notes? Let's start at the foundation. Why did I use the phrase God's money? It almost sounds sacrilegious, doesn't it? How dare you call it God's money when God has nothing to do with gold and silver and all of that? You might be surprised to find out why we call it God's money. I'm about to teach you what you did not know before today. Do you love free education? Do you love knowledge? Let me give it to you. Earth did not make gold. Heaven did. And silver. Gold and silver is literally not of this world. Both metals, I've got a little piece of it right here in my hand. That's pure gold. I have tons of these, okay? That little piece of gold is heavenly. Why is that? Because it was not formed in the earth when Yahweh created the earth. He did not create the earth with gold in the earth. He created the crust of the earth with things like granite and coal and steel. All of that is in the crust of our planet. It was created there, but not gold, not silver. They come from a far more heavenly and glorious origin. Gold is born when two stars, heavenly bodies, collide. When two stars slam into each other way out in outer space, there is a massive fiery celestial explosion called a neutron star merger. When these heavenly giants smash together, they produce an immense heat that melts the star itself. And the pressure from that heat literally creates gold. And then what does it do with that gold? It hurls it all over the universe. Literally, floating gold comes from these explosions in the heavenlies. Now, over eons of time, some of that gold comes by planet Earth, and those cosmic explosions begin to literally go through our atmosphere and burn up. That gold melts into liquid golden rain. Literally, this is all true. Now, you know the best of the story. It rains down on our planet. You don't see it, it's so minuscule. And over the centuries, millenniums of time, it falls in a pocket on our planet. And then layers of dirt covers it up over the ages. Gold did not come from earth. It came to earth from heaven. And because gold cannot be destroyed ever, it can't be destroyed by fire. There's nothing that can destroy that little piece of heaven in my hand. Nothing. Not fire, not water, time. It never rusts. It survives the journey, pierces the atmosphere, melts into the earth's surface. That's why gold is never evenly found across our planet. You never find just an even spreading of gold. You only find random pockets because they're literally hidden treasures from heaven. Let that sink in tonight. Gold is stardust. Gold is heavenly fingerprints. Gold is God's signature etched in planet Earth. Now you might know why God wanted all the Ark of the Covenant and all the furniture of the tabernacle covered with what? Gold, because that would connect the earthly with the heavenly. And the reason he wanted the sockets to be made out of silver, because they are also from the heavens. We'll talk about silver in just a moment. Tonight is education night. You might want to share this seminar. There's going to be a lot of great information here tonight. Are you ready for a mind-blowing fact? Do you want me to blow your mind tonight? All right, let me do that. If you could collect every ounce of gold right here, this is not an ounce here. This is not an ounce of gold. This is more like a tenth of an ounce right here. But if you could collect all of the pure gold on planet Earth, and that's ever been mined, that we've ever found, it would barely fill up 3 swimming pools. That's it. The reason gold is so valuable, it is heavenly, and nobody is making any of it, and no one knows how. Yahweh created God's money in the heavens. And if you don't have God's money, you don't have money. We're going to talk about that tonight. We got a lot to go over this evening, all right? So 3 swimming pools, that's it. That is all the gold there is in the world. And I'm so glad to tell you tonight that I've got some of that swimming pool in my life. No government can create gold. None. No lab can synthesize it. No machine can replicate it. Only heaven can produce gold. So the next time you hold a piece of gold in your hand, go ahead and touch it, because you're touching heaven. Literally. The Bible said the heavens declare the glory of God. The heavens is the atmosphere, and that is where gold comes from. So that is your first lesson tonight, is where this comes from. Thank you, Brother Darren Bunch. Please catch the replay. You don't want to miss this tonight. All right. Now, let's talk about silver. Let's move on to silver. I have boxes and boxes and boxes of silver. Most people know that gold comes from a collision of stars, but most people don't know that silver is created when a star dies. When a star runs out of fuel, if you will, that's called a supernova. When that star exhausts its fuel and collapses, it triggers a supernova, an explosion so powerful that it momentarily outshines the entire galaxy. And in that blinding blast of light and matter, silver is born. So, like gold, silver is not of this earth. It is the product of a dying star, scattering elements all over the universe until they find their way to earth as gifts from heaven. So, the difference in gold and silver is this: gold is rare, untouchable, okay? Because very seldom do two stars collide, making it rare. But stars are always dying, making silver much more readily available. So the difference in gold is the fact that it is so rare, and it symbolizes the divine glory of God. That's why kings wear crowns made out of gold. Silver is much more common. It's so common it can be circulated as currency. Now, I'm not going to go over the scriptures about those tonight, but gold is the crown, but silver, just like gold, never dies, it never rots, it never rusts, ever, ever, ever. Now, there is not a lot of investable silver on the earth today. As a matter of fact, that's why silver's fixing to rise. There is a lot less investable silver than gold today. Now, we have a lot of silver, but not investable, because we use silver in our industry, such as solar panels, electronics, medicines. That's why Donald Trump is making deals for certain minerals from the earth. Silver is very accessible, but we use it, and there's very little of it for finances. Gold is stored, silver is spent. It is the working metal of creation. So remember, gold is glory, silver is grace. Gold is kingship, silver is salvation. When you touch silver, you're touching the currency of redemption. Now, before I go on tonight, what I'm about to teach you is going to require a level of faith. If you're not a believer tonight in the Bible, then you will continue to buy cryptocurrency. My lesson is going to require Bible believers probably to understand what's coming. You need an element of faith to believe in gold and silver, because if you do not believe that the end of all things is upon us, and if you just believe that everything is going to continue on for another 1,000 years, just like it is today, then you're going to be buying cryptocurrency, because your hope is in the future rather than in the coming of the Lord and the events that's going to bring his coming to earth, namely World War III, which Iran is bringing us ever so quickly to the brink of. If you're like us, you believe that there is a great day of trouble coming to planet Earth much sooner than any of you realize. I would tell you by 2038. And there's a reason that I say that. You need to go watch my teachings and you'll understand why. So the rest of this class is going to require you to believe that things are not going to stay as they are, okay? Now, I want to pivot just a moment away from Wall Street, and I want to bring you to the word of Yahweh, because The answers that we need in this hour is not in the Federal Reserve. They're in Genesis. Everything that happened in Genesis is going to replicate itself in the end time. There was a famine in the book of Genesis. It was very real. God's people needed gold and silver. All right. And in the earliest chapters of Genesis, you're going to find something very stunning. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, they didn't just have livestock and tents, they had gold and silver. And during the time of famine, for 7 years, it was gold and silver that God had told them to get a hold of that sustained them through the famine. You can read that in Genesis 41:57. It says that everybody came to Joseph to buy grain because the famine was severe in all the land. God did not tell his people that they were going to get free food in the time of famine. And so many of you watching me on the replay and the live, I get the same thing every time. Pastor, when that time comes, my trust is in the Lord. God's going to take care of me. I'm so thankful that Joseph didn't think that way. God told him, tough times are coming. Here's what you must do to prepare. Now, if Jacob would not have had silver, listen to me carefully, all of Joseph's brothers would have starved to death. How do I know that? Genesis 44 and verse 8. How then could we steal silver or gold from your Lord's house? If you'll remember, they came with silver to buy grain. Genesis 45:22. To Benjamin, Joseph gave 300 pieces of silver. Jacob did, I'm sorry. He gave him 300 pieces of silver, and it was more valuable than bread because he said, take this silver and go buy grain. God preserved his people by telling them in advance, the dollar is going to die. And I want to provide for my people in advance. Gold and silver are kingdom tools, not just end time tools. Our trust is not in gold and silver. Our trust is in Yahweh and his son Yeshua, but he told his people to get gold and silver, not for greed, but for kingdom purposes, to feed their families, to bless others, and to survive the famine, and to fund the Exodus. He did it all with silver and gold. Now, there's a growing movement among many Christian believers that are chasing the quantum financial system, which is digital currency solutions. Now, listen, I've got a little money put up in Bitcoin and the stock market, okay? I'm not against any of that. But I'm going to tell you something. Let me warn you. Anything digital will be tied to the beast system that's about to come up on the world. Anything tied digitally is the digital leash. Revelation says without being part of that system, you will not be able to buy nor sell. There's also a spiritual application to that. But it doesn't say anything about we won't be able to barter. We just won't be able to buy or sell in that system. But that's all right. We're going to have a backup system for God's people to survive what's coming upon the world by getting off of their radar, by bartering, and by obeying him now so that we are ready then. Listen, preparation is not fear. It is faith in action. Think of Noah. who built an ark in dry weather because Yahweh said so. Joseph, he stored grain not out of panic, but obedience. If Joseph would not have prepared, everyone would have starved. If Noah would not have built, the righteous would have drowned. Preparing is not doubt, it's devotion. Preparing is not doubt. What's doubt is when God tells you how to prepare and you doubt it. So here's my call to action to you tonight. And I'm fixing to teach you about gold and silver. If Yahweh has nudged you about getting gold and silver, obey him. If he hasn't, then forget about it. This is not about fear. This is about a faith that actually listens and does something about it. Here's why it's important. The paper dollar bill in your pocket is dying. A slow death. Your dollar bill is dying right before your eyes. It's very important that you truly understand that, okay? It's dying. The dollar bill in your pocket is a liar. It is lying to you. If you are watching me tonight and you still have money in a bank account except enough for you to live on, if you've got money in a savings account, you need to call me. If you've got money in a 401k tied to that digital leash, you need to go to godsmoney.info, book an appointment with us, and let us help set you free from the digital leash, okay? Because let me cut through the fog. Let's just cut all the way through the fog, pull the curtain back, and call it what it is. Your dollar, the one in your wallet or in your savings account or your paycheck, is a liar. It looks like money. It acts like money, but it's not money. It's a note. It's a handwritten note. A promise is all it is, signed by a government that is $35 trillion in debt, and they couldn't balance the budget of a lemonade stand. Let me illustrate it to you like this. Your dollar bill is a promise from a broke government, a government that has no money to back up their promise. They are so in debt, their credit rating is dropping as we speak. If I wrote you $100,000 check, I would give you a check. It would look like a check. It would act like a check. It feels like a check. And you're all excited because you've got a check with $100,000 written on it, with all the zeros, my signature, the official formatting. But I don't have $100,000 in the bank to cover the check. I would not just be lying to you, but I would be actually committing a felony against you. I would go to prison for that, for what your government is doing to you every single day with dollar bills. That's what the government is doing. They've written you a dollar bill that they have nothing to back it up, nothing at all. They issue papers filled with zeros, signed by officials, but backed by nothing. Worse than nothing, it's backed by a bankrupt government that has no money, only more debt, more printing, and more lies. This is not money. This is debt masquerading as value. It's monopoly money with a muscle. That's all it is. That's it. Let me show you exactly, if I can, what is going on with your dollar, just so you can be totally, completely educated, all right? That is a US dollar on your screen. It's a $20 bill, rather, I'm sorry. That's a $20 bill on, well, no, let's go to the $20 bill right there. Let's move to that one. That is a $20 bill on your screen. In 1924, versus today. Okay, let's go back and let's look at a $1 bill in 1924. That and a 1 ounce gold coin both could buy a steak dinner, a shirt, and a tank of gas. That's what a $1 bill could buy in 1924. Let me show it to you this way. A $1 bill in 1971 could buy 20 gallons of gas. Today, it can buy a half a gallon of gas. But look at that 1 ounce gold piece, 1 ounce, same that was worth $1 in 1971. In 1971, it could buy 20 gallons of gas. Today, it can buy 23 gallons of gas. That, my friend, is called purchasing power. Listen to me carefully. Cash is not king. Purchasing power is king. Now you compare that $1 gold coin and that $1 bill. You look at the difference and you can see it for yourself. Let's go back. In 1924, $1 of gold, $1 of your dollar bills, that's what it could buy. A dollar bill today could barely buy a half a gallon of gas. That is the lie that I am talking about. Now, you would not accept a check from your cousin if you knew he was bankrupt, but you'll trust paper promises from Washington, D.C. Now, the question that everybody asks me when I show them this is, how can our government, if all this is true, Professor Toto, how can our government function if it's bankrupt? Very simple. If I have any business owners here today, you will know the answer to that. If our government is so far in debt, if the dollar is a lie, then how are we still operating? Because any business, even a bankrupt business, can stay open as long as it has what? Anybody? Anybody? Cash flow or tax flow. All right? Think about it. A company can be $10 million in debt and still operate. They can still pay their salaries, run ads, even look successful as long as what? Income is flowing through the business. You don't realize they're bankrupt. That is your government, ladies and gentlemen. They are insolvent. They are not cashless, but they are insolvent because they still have a stream of money coming from the taxpayers that keeps the illusion going. And that cash flow comes from taxes, tariffs, borrowing from the Federal Reserve, printing money, raising the debt ceiling. This is all a joke, and you're living in that joke. And instead of getting set free from that joke and coming into the real sound money, we just stay right there. In other words, the government's not rich and they're not solvent. They're really just good at squeezing money out of people to keep the lies going. And because they control the economy, they control the cash flow for now. So the real question is, how long can this continue? Your dollar bill in your pocket is now worth 3 cents of purchasing power. 3 cents. That's it. That is what your dollar bill is worth today. The other 97 cents, that purchasing power is gone because of what? Inflation. This, my friend, is the only thing that will protect your money from inflation. The only thing in the world that will protect your money from inflation. And you need to understand this so that you can be prepared for where we are and where we're going. Now, a lot of people are concerned that the government could confiscate their gold and silver. That's not going to happen again, and I will explain why at the end of my class tonight for those of you that have to leave early. But yes, in 1933, the government did confiscate gold, not not collectible coins, because they can't, it's illegal. But they did collect bullion. Let me explain to you the difference. They confiscated it, but that will not happen again, and I'll explain why later tonight. Do you know the difference in bullion and collectibles? All right. A bullion is a coin or a bar of gold or silver that is valued only by what we call the melt value. If you melt it down, whatever the melt value of that is, that's what it's worth. Bullion is subject to government confiscation. Okay. Whereas a collectible coin like this one here, that's a collectible coin, meaning it's unique, it's rare, it's not bullion, and its value is not determined by the weight, but rather the rarity of the coin. Those can never be confiscated, ever. That's why I mostly buy collectibles, except for my long-term savings. I buy bullion. I have offense because your bullion is not making as much money as your collectibles are. All right. But they're safer than the collectible as far as weight value is concerned. I'll explain all of that later tonight. So you need to know the difference in bullion and collectibles if you plan to get into this collecting gold. So we'll come back to the question of why they will not confiscate your gold or silver anymore. Okay. Now, the government cannot, like I said, confiscate collectible coins. Now, I want to transition now. We've talked about gold, we've talked about silver, how awesome, how heavenly, how we need it, and we're all convinced that we would like to have some. But here we come back to the problem of group number one that don't have no money to buy gold and to buy silver. I'd like to tell you a little story. I'd like to give you a personal story from my own life. Several years ago, a man called me on the phone and said, I'd like to come talk to you about gold and silver. I knew the man. He was dating my sister. It's the only reason I gave him the time of day. I laughed at the idea of gold and silver because, like group number one, I was barely paying my bills and putting $300 a month in a savings account. Okay. Now, when that man came to see me, my life changed forever. That is not hyperbole. My life changed forever. My lifestyle, my finances changed because of one man caring enough to do what I'm doing for you tonight. Not only did he introduce me to the gold and silver, but he introduced me to the direct marketing side to make money, referring that to people. And that changed my finances forever. Okay. But it also changed how I thought about money. And that's what I hope to do for you tonight, to change how you think about money. All right. I was living on a modest income, but I was able to save about $300 a month. I thought I was doing great, putting $300 after all my bills was paid. That's about what we were saving every month. He approached me and said, you need to be getting gold. And I said, I'm barely keeping my lights on. That man looked me in the eye and asked me a question that haunted me until I answered it. And I'm going to ask you the same question he asked me. Listen closely. This question may change your future. He said, Shane, would you be willing to swap that $300 a month that you're saving in the bank for real money. Would you be willing to swap with me? Give me that 300. I'll give you real money. Would you be willing to make that swap consistently every single month? I said, no. I said, I wouldn't. He said, all right, would you be willing to swap $100 with me? Just trust me on this. Give our company $100 and we will send you $100 worth of gold or silver in exchange for your fake money. I said, I'll do that. Fair enough. I'll do that. That one question planted a seed in my mind that has turned into a harvest. He introduced me to a buying club called 7K Metals. This was 10 years ago. And I reluctantly joined that club and bought a membership. And then I joined what they called their Coin of the Month program. That is what he meant by would you be willing to trade fake money for real money every single month since you're already saving $100 a month in the bank. Let's take it out of the bank. Let's get you silver instead of dollars. Let's get you out of the bank and get real money in your hands in a vault somewhere in your house to where you can't just spend it easily. You're forcing yourself to create wealth. Well, I did it. Okay. I joined, I got on the collectible coin of the month program. And suddenly I realized what I used to do when I was saving money. I'd run and get my money out of savings to pay a bill. But now I had my money in silver and gold. And it wasn't quite as easy to liquidate it. You can do it. It's a process. I'm going to teach you how to do it tonight. So I found myself being forced to save this money up every single month. $100 a month is what I was spending. And about 10 years later, today, I have stacked so many of these because I simply said, you know what? This club was created so that group number one could get gold and silver in their hands. That's why they created this club. So month after month, I started building a stack of wealth that I couldn't spend easily. It kept me disciplined because you can't just swipe that like a debit card. And then 5 years later, I looked at that stack because every month I would just throw them away. I bought one for me, one for my wife, one for my children. So I'm getting about 5 a month now for the last 5-10 years. And suddenly I go and look at the value of these coins. Some of these coins are up 1,000% in value. I was blown away. It changed my life forever. Let me explain to you what 7K Metals is. Think of Costco, okay? We are the Costco of precious metals. We don't make any money on gold or silver, none. The only way our company makes money, let me give you an example. If you right now, after watching this podcast, say, you know what? I got 200,000 in the bank. It's coming out. I'm getting gold and silver. Well, here's my next question to you. How are you going to do that? Oh, I know. You're going to call J.G. Wentworth at one.com. Okay. You're going to call them up and say, hey guys, I need $200,000 worth of gold. They're like, all right, Mr. So-and-so, after we take out our commission, our spread, and the markup, great. You send us $200,000. We're going to send you $172,000 worth of gold right now. Whoa. Where's my 30,000? Well, that's how J.G. Wentworth paid for the ad. There's a markup because nobody watching me tonight can go straight to the mint and buy gold and silver. Only authorized dealers can, like 7K and J.G. Wentworth and these others. So if you want a bunch of gold, you're going to pay a commission for that. 7K said, you know what? We've got people out there that don't have $200,000. They barely got 200, but they would like to start saving that in real money. We're the only company in the whole world that does what we call fractional gold. If you've got $1 and you want to buy $1 worth of gold, you can go right now in our back office and buy it. Now, because if you're a member of 7K, you buy a membership. That's it. Like a Costco, you buy a membership to become a member of our club. Once you're a member of the club, now you can log into that back office, forget any markups, forget any commissions, get all the gold, the silver you want, get the coin of the month sent to you every single month. You're going to buy that bullion at spot price. Why? Because we make no money off of the product. We do make money off the annual membership. That's where our income is. That's how we're able to pay people for referring us to their friends. Oh, yes, if you refer us to anybody, you get $80 worth of gold deposited into your sound money wallet right then. Did you know that? And if you refer 4 friends, not only do you get $80 worth of gold for each one, we throw another $500 worth of gold in there just for the heck of it. Okay. So how do we pay all that? With the membership. No middleman whatsoever. And the membership pays for itself like that. And if you refer it to 4 friends, you don't even have to, you've made your money back for your membership. I think it's $1.99. It's hardly nothing. You can literally start with $1. But here's something everyone needs to remember. When you become a member of 7K Metals and you go to godsmoney.info and become a member, you need to do that. You go to godsmoney.info, become a member, book an appointment. We'll walk you through it. You become a business owner. When you pay that membership of $1.99, you become a business owner. What does that mean? You just entered a whole nother world of tax breaks. That means everything you buy now, gold and silver, becomes your what? Your inventory in your store. You go talk to your tax preparer about what that means, okay? God's money is not just a membership, it's a movement. We're here to re-educate America, one family at a time, to show you how to buy gold and silver at direct prices. Start stacking with as little as $1. Turn your savings that you've got in the bank right now into tangible generational wealth that's going up in value. Have business ownership and tax benefits legally and powerfully. I know you have a lot of questions tonight, but I just want to show you real quickly how easy it is, okay, to buy gold and silver once you become a member. You just go to the Sound Money wallet right here. Right now, gold is selling for $3,500 an ounce. Earlier today, it was selling for $3,700 an ounce. So let's just say I want to buy $200,000 worth of 1 ounce gold bars. And I want to pay for it out of my bank account. All right. When you do, we're going to send you basically 56 ounces of gold. It's that easy. Click buy. It's paid. It's done. Now you've traded fake money for real money. It's headed to your house. You understand? It's headed to your house, children. You understand? It's coming right to your house, children. And now you've got real money. Oh, something I didn't show you. You want to sell your gold? It's so easy. Go right in, click sell. How much of it you want to sell? And we'll put the money right in your bank account. If you got money, you got your gold and silver, and you're like, you know what? I need $10,000 real fast. Then put $10,000 in there. I got insufficient funds, so it's not going to tell me. But if I had that much money in gold, it would tell me how many ounces it was going to deduct from my account, and it would put $10,000 in my bank account immediately. Guys, it's so easy. So easy. Clara Taylor just gave some information. Now, let me see, Clara. Israel attacks Iran. Give me 1 second, guys. If that is true, then that is major. Hang tight. Hold on. No, let's see. I'm sorry. This is major. If this is true. Okay, I don't see it anywhere right now. Let's see. Oh yeah, Israel launches preemptive strikes against Iran. My God, I was just telling y'all what's fixing to happen to this world. Wow. Anyway, if we can help you, we're here to help you. That's major news. That's breaking news. I need to go and follow this news. Okay, Terry McKee, I'm sorry, I just got majorly distracted because I keep up with the news. They told me to get the referral fee that you needed to be in the 549 club. What he's talking about there are two memberships. You can do an annual membership every year for $199 or a lifetime membership for $549. You pay it, you're done. You never have to pay anything else. So, amen. Look, folks, I'm going to have to go. I wanted to answer some more questions, but I need to. Here's the QR code. If you would like to get an appointment with us, we're ready to help you. Do you have money in a 401k? You've got money in a savings account. Let us help you get it out today. And let's get some real money because if Israel just attacked Iran, that's all I got to say about that. God bless you all. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something tonight.